KJS Dhillon, Mr. Mr. Gaurav Sri Nagesh, and of course Bimako, whom I have just met, esteemed veterans, distinguished guests, members of the media, and ladies and gentlemen, very good evening as well as Jai Hind. As far as so-called Tiny Dhillon is concerned, I remember it was somewhere in 1985 when I was visiting Tamze because I had just moved to Sikkim and before Rajrif was there, him and Karyappa. And since then I have been observing him, and with every passing day he's only been outshining his own image. So that is something, and I was telling him in lighter moments, after third book, I think he should be called as PhD in writing books because he has actually attained so much of expertise now. And all those who have seen him in the media interviews and all that, I think he is single man who can make a movie, something like a one-man movie. That is the kind of a persona he has got now. So to begin with, it's a great honor for me to release this Operation Sindoor, the untold story of the India's deep strikes inside Pakistan, whose first book also, his first book I was very lucky to receive when I was the army commander, that is Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye. So coming on to this book, firstly it's just not a narrative of military operation, but a tribute to the courage, professionalism and unyielding spirit of Indian Army and the nation itself. And what is rightly brought out as the line of control battle is concerned, we got so much used to this kind of a battle that we don't realize the relevance, the emotions, the losses, the gains and the challenges which are there. So in Operation Sindoor, this was something which was an untold story. And as you are aware that by mistake when the list came out from the opposite side that how many have been given the posthumous awards, I can say that most of the credit should go to the line of control. So that is how it began. To the extent that when we got some kind of a small excerpts, it said, "Bahut hua, file chodo, jaldi se Muzaffarabad bhago." So that was the kind of onslaught which took place, the fire assault which was there. So what I mean to say, what he's taken the mantle or what he's trying to cover from his book is something which generally remains unheard, untold, because the uniformed people cannot speak about it. So I'm really grateful to you, sir, for carrying out this onerous task. So I must also confess that this book covers the complete lucid manner, the issues as if he was sitting with me from 22nd April onwards. So I am really surprised that how come he knows so much about the Indian Army and the issues which were at hand. But he's covered it in a very lucid manner. It was factful, the book is factful, and it's transcending from supra-strategic to the tactical. It's very difficult. In one small book, covering all these aspects, it's a real challenge. But he's been able to put everything together. It delves into the political clarity, interpretation of full freedom which was given to us, setting up of politico-military objectives, glimpses of three issues which forces always look at: force visualization, force protection, and force application. Then also he delves at the centralized planning and decentralized execution, which is very difficult to strike a balance because every force has its own ways and grey zone makes it more challenging. And the most important is the synergized orchestration of the three forces. It also meanders through the so-called grey zone, which in IIT Madras I said we're playing chess, or a wide river with a dense fog, which entails decision dilemma at every stage. That is starting from 23rd April till 16th May. You may be thinking that 10th May the war finished. No, it continued for a long time because so many decisions were to be taken. And beyond that, of course, it will be difficult for me to share here. So when to start, when to stop, how much to apply in terms of time, space and resources, and how much or what is the definition of calibrated. All these things are something which we kept on discussing at every point of time. Why? Because this time there were no precedences. Though of course I can say that I spoke to many veterans on 22nd April and 23rd April. I was speaking to so many people, including those who have served in those areas and those who have been in the high positions, that okay, what are the options available to us? And many came with so many brilliant options. But all these options, they have to be clubbed together and thereafter we have to take the option which suits the country first at that point of time. So every action, every inaction, when I say inaction means the deliberate not taking of action, had long-term implications. But I must say that Indian Army during this complete thing moved like something like it was a rhythmic wave. When I say rhythmic wave, means in this 88 hours, it was not possible for you to come for the planning, then pass the orders and do. So everybody was synergized and everybody knew his orders. And that's what I have always been saying, that the commanding officer to COAS, that is CO to COAS, must synergize together as far as gray zone is concerned. And I think we could perfect it to a great extent. That is starting from the soldiers, starting from the commander till chief, then of course the civil administration, the state administration, the central administration, NCC, civil defense, and of course the industry and academia. So everyone was involved in this complete planning and execution. So now, why this book is relevant? When Operation Sindoor is also being covered in the NCERT syllabus, as you are well aware, that from class 1 to 5, they are already having one portion, then class 6 onward, the other portion is also there. So I must say that this book is very, very relevant for following reasons. Firstly, it's foundational in nature. It gives you the basic foundation. And this will set the benchmark hereafter. It is referral for the precedents, because there was no precedents before this. Secondly, it will be a reference material for the research scholars hereafter. And thirdly, the military strategicians will quote it hereafter. Lessons for the future warfare will be pulled out from this, and it will be also in the lighter vein, it will have a candidature for the military history promotion exams. And also for the Chief of Army Staff, 100 reading books which I have released a few months back. Probably the new one will definitely have this book. It will also be a reminder to hasten up the transformation. As you are aware that we have started the journey for the decade of transformation. You all have heard from Rudra to Ashni. So this will hasten up the procedure and we will have to move very fast, that is by yesterday. It will also give a kind of a, if I can say that, introspection for the narrative management system, which is partially covered also, and lessons for the media. Whether the media was correct in the hype, or was the synergy there in terms of when to peak and when not to peak. That is something we need to learn together. We need to sit together after this, carry out the introspection and look for a synergized way ahead. Efficacy of international relations in testing times. How many were neutral? How many were actually supporting you? So finally, if I have to say that India announced its resolve with a new normal, with outstanding clarity in strategic guidance, with whole of nation approach for execution. So once again, my congratulations, deepest gratitude for taking out this book and telling the stories of the unsung heroes. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, General Dwivedi, for your words. Thank you.
Friends from the media and the veterans who have been, and today it happens to be Teachers' Day. And what a great day to be sitting amongst the teachers who groomed me, chiseled me, mentored me. And my Palton is in good strength. My first commanding officer, second commanding officer, third commanding officer, my senior subalterns. So they are the best teachers. And I'm so happy that they're here today to support the launch of the book. The book basically deals with Operation Sindoor, gives a little backgrounder. Then comes the build-up after 22nd of April till 6th, 7th May night. Build-up of intelligence, the synergy, the diplomatic efforts, the political will, and tying the loose ends. And who better than the chief himself to be here to release this book, because he is the one who steered the victory of Operation Sindoor, the Army's component, and in a very synergized national effort. I think we are singularly honored, and I am very lucky to have the Chief amongst us today. Then the book builds up to the planning, the selection of targets, the ifs, buts, whys, hows of the targets, and then comes the target to weapon matching. The most suitable weapons for the selected targets, and then the surprise, the speedy execution, and thereafterwards the impact, the terms of reference, and thereafterwards Pakistan's response, and then our kinetic response even later on 10th of May, early morning. The diplomatic picture, the lessons learned, the military lessons learned, the technological lessons learned, the way forward, and most importantly, the two chapters which are very close to my heart. One is the battle on the line of control. Because most of the media friends sitting here would agree with me, during the media coverage of Operation Sindoor, this important aspect of a war fighting was somehow left out, and very few, very little emphasis was laid on the battle of the line of control, which was actually the battle of the Jigra, as we call it. The battle where our innocent civilians were actually hit by Pakistan, and how Indian Army retaliated and did the operations there. So that particular chapter is of very significance. And then, wars are fought, wars are won, wars are lost. But in this particular war, as is true for all the wars which are happening across the globe during this internet and social media era, the battle of the narratives. The war is being fought on India-Pakistan border or the line of control. The narrative is being set somewhere else. Because someone does not want that Indian weapons, Indian joint venture weapons like BrahMos, Russian weapons like S-400 and Rafale platforms. Someone didn't want these weapons to be declared the winners, because then they will lose the orders from the third world countries for military supplies. So the narrative was being built somewhere else, being set somewhere else, being sold somewhere else. So that chapter on the battle of narratives is also one of the most important chapters. And then, of course, the new normal counter-terrorist strategy of India and the way forward. So this is in the wholesome the book. The details are many. Most of the details are not covered earlier, or they are covered but not in this sequence. Some of the details, once you read the book, you will find is covered in bits and pieces by various channels, various news magazines, various journalists, even various TV interviews of the serving officers. But to put it sequentially and put it in some sort of a order was my attempt. And I'm happy to say that Army Headquarters, the Director General Military Operations, Military Intelligence, ADG, Stat Communication, once they were wetting the book, they actually went with a toothpick. I took about a month and a half to write, they took about a month and a half to wet it. So that added value to the product. That added value, it cut out the flab, it cut out the unnecessary items, and what comes in front of you is pure desi ghee, as they call it in Rajasthan. So I'm very fortunate that today, if we look to our right, the top row, second from the left, former Army Chief General Shri Nagesh, we are honored to have his grandson here today amongst us. Gaurav, where are you? Gaurav Shri Nagesh is CEO of Penguin Random House India Limited, the publishers of the book. Thank you. I'm also honored on today Teachers' Day, as I said, my first commanding officer, second commanding officer, third commanding officer, senior subalterns, and some people who served with me and taught me all. Brigadier Mukherjee is my first commanding officer, and I have the honor to have him with us today. And of course, Brigadier Sharma, Brigadier Dalal, Colonel Suri, Colonel Rajiv, and all the senior veterans who saw my journey as an officer. I'm very sure you never would have believed that Tiny ek din kitab bhi likhega. So here, with all humility at my disposal, this is the third one coming out, and this is again a bestseller in the pre-order stage itself. So that is the demand for this book. And thank you, Penguin Random House India Limited. My editor of all three books, Mr. Premanko Goswami, is here with us today. And in his publishing house, people have started calling him, you are churning out bestsellers. So thank you very much for your presence here. And it is an honor that all of you took time out in this weather of uncertainty and were present here today. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, And once again, thank the Chief and Mrs. Dwivedi for being here. And over to you, Aparna. Thank you.